Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is our last new thing for inequalities, and we're going to be doing multi-step today. So we've done multi-step equations again. Solving process is the same, but you do have to do the graph afterwards. So you want to make sure that you understand how to graph these as well as solve them. Don't forget the things that still apply about the negative and flipping your inequality symbol. So we're going to go through that part at the top of your notes. For the first part, since we are doing multi-step, there is a chance you've got some parentheses involved in this. So you want to make sure you get rid of your parentheses first by using your distributive property. Okay. And then once you do that, if you need to combine any like terms, you need to do that. That means if you have any plain numbers on the same side, or if you have any variable terms on the same side that need to be combined together, and then that needs to be taken care of. Okay, so we'll do that second. Once you do that, you're moving your variable terms to one side of the inequality, and your constants to the opposite side. All right. And then last but not least, we are, you're going to solve. And don't forget to reverse the inequality symbol if you multiply or divide by a negative. Okay? All right, so those are just the upfront rules for this. Now we're going to go ahead and get started on the solving process. So we're going to go back into these two-step because we did these before, and then we're going to work into the three-step and the four-step problems from there. So remember, you're trying to isolate this term, so I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides, and I get 4d is less than or equal to 16. I'm going to divide both sides by 4. And I get d is less than or equal to 4. Now I didn't flip because I didn't multiply or divide by a negative. So remember, you're going to put one number in the middle, the one that you get, and then a number on either side. You can add more, but you shouldn't have any less. Remember, with this equal to part underneath my inequality symbol, that means my circle is going to be filled in, and numbers less than 4. We're not following arrows. We're shading to the part of the graph that makes the inequality true. So please do not follow arrows. That's not a good practice. All right, on this one, we're getting rid of this 5 because we want this 4a by itself. Now notice that negative sign goes with the 4, not with the 5. So that means we're getting rid of a positive 5 by subtracting 5 from both sides. Negative 12 is less than or equal to negative 4a. Be careful that you bring down that negative. We're going to divide both sides by negative 4, which is going to cause us to reverse our inequality symbol. Okay, so we get 3 is greater than or equal to a. So I'm going to put my 3 here, and a 2 and a 4 on either side. It has an equal to part on my inequality, which means I need to fill that circle in. 3 is greater than a. 3 is greater than what number? 3 is greater than 2, or 3 is greater than 4? 3 is definitely greater than 2, so we're going to shade to the side that makes the inequality true. Okay, so there's your first two. Now we're going to go on to these. These are your multi-step. So here I have to do my distributive property. I have to get rid of these parentheses. Make sure you're taking that outside number into both of the inside numbers. So this is 2j minus 8 is greater than or equal to negative 6. Now I've got a standard two-step. Add 8 to both sides. I get 2j is greater than or equal to 2. And then I'm going to divide by my coefficient of 2 and get j is greater than or equal to 1. I did not need to flip anything because I did not multiply or divide by a negative. I have my 3 numbers on my number line. This is a closed circle because of the equal to part. I need to make sure I fill that in. And numbers that are greater than 1. That'd be 2, 3, 4, anything heading in this direction. Okay. And then last on the front, we have variable terms on both sides and constants on both sides. I need to move my variable terms one way, my constants the other. I'm going to move my 3x over to my 5x, and I get 7 is greater than 2x plus 9. And then since I move my variables to the right, I'm going to move my constants to the left, so I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides and get negative 2 is greater than 2x. Divide by your coefficient, and you get negative 1 is greater than x. So I'm going to put my negative 1, this is 0, this is negative 2. It's going to be an open circle this time because there's no equal to part, and negative 1 is greater than what? Negative 1 is greater than negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, and so on in that direction. All right, so we're going to flip over to the back and finish these up. Number 5, we've got distributive property as well as variable terms on both sides. So we're going to take this negative 3 and we're going to distribute it through and get negative 3v plus 9 is less than 5 minus 4v. Again, you've got variables on both sides and constants on both sides. I need to get my variable terms to one side, so I'm going to add 4v to both sides. And then I want my constants to the other. So this is going to be v plus 9 is less than 5. Now I need to isolate that v by subtracting 9, and v is less than negative 4. Okay? So again, I'm going to put that negative 4 in the middle, a negative 3 and a negative 5 on either side. It is an open circle in numbers less than negative 4. That would be your negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, and so forth. All right, next one, I've got distributive property, and I'm going to be combining some like terms. So I have to take this negative 3 through the set of parentheses first, negative 3 times n, and negative 3 times positive 3. I need to combine this like term with this like term. 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Keep your variable. Bring everything else down. I need to isolate this term by adding 9 to both sides. And that's going to be 23. And then I need to divide by negative 1. Now because I'm dividing by negative, that's going to cause me to reverse my inequality symbol. Don't forget that. So I'm going to put my negative 23 in the middle. I have a negative 24 here and a negative 22 here. This would be a closed circle. And numbers greater than negative 23 would be negative 22, negative 21, and so forth. All right, guys, I'm going to pause the video and give you an opportunity to work out these 4 problems. And once you work those out, we'll go over those together. So take a few minutes and work on those. All right, so let's go over these 4 problems. You're going to subtract 8. 2x is greater than or equal to 8. And then you're going to divide by 2. So x is greater than or equal to 4. So I'm going to put my 4, 5, and 3 here. This is going to be a closed circle because it has an equal to part. And numbers greater than 4 would be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so forth. For number 2, I'm subtracting 5 from both sides. I get negative 6x is greater than 30. When I divide by this negative 6, I need to make sure that I reverse the inequality symbol. So I'm going to put negative 5 in the middle, and I'm going to put a negative 4, negative 6 on either side. Open circle. Numbers less than negative 5 would be negative 6, negative 7, and so forth. Okay, there's your first 2. Last 2. You have a distributive property here, so I need to make sure I take this 2 through to each piece. 2x plus 14 is less than or equal to negative 10. I'm subtracting 14 so I can isolate my variable term. 2x is less than or equal to negative 24. Dividing by positive 2, so I'm not reversing my inequality symbol. And I get x is less than or equal to negative 12. So I have a negative 12 here, negative 13, negative 11. I get a filled in circle, because of the equal to, and numbers less than negative 12 would be shaded to your left. And now for our last one. So we've got a distributive property. So we get negative 3 is greater than 15x minus 48. We're going to add 48 to both sides to isolate your variable term. And I get 45 is greater than 15x. Divide by your coefficient of 15, and you get 3 is greater than x. So I have a 3 here, a 2 and a 4. Open circle because it's just a greater than symbol. And 3 is greater than what? 3 is greater than 2, 1, 0, anything heading to your left. So that's it for multi-step inequalities. That's our notes for today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and contact me, and I'll be happy to help. Have a great day.